morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to talk about Ninetales V. I like Ninetales V. I think Ninetales V is very, very good. And Ninetales V is actually really, really good in a new Fire Toolbox deck, which has come around because of Rebellion Clash. Shout out to the lovely Talonite X over on Twitter for being lovely and also for giving us the deck list. Very nice person. So if we start off with Ninetales V, it's not really a Ninetales V deck, I should say. We've basically got 2 different GXs, 3 different Pokemon V, and a tag team, as well as a bunch of support Pokemon as well. It is very much a Fire Toolbox, but it's a deck that basically gives you all the tricks you need to win. But one of the best tricks we've got here is Ninetales V. Now, Ninetales V has got one attack which I really love. The weirdly named Tail Shapeshifting. For free energy, bearing in mind Welder will allow you to attach 2 of them and then you can attach from your hand, so it's a 1-turn attack. You get to just copy one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Now, our translations come from the lovely David Hockman and the lovely Antoine Boulet. And 2 important things to note here. Yes, you can copy GX attacks as long as you've not already used your GX attack for the turn. And yes, you can use this for just free energy regardless of what the attack you're copying actually is. If you're copying a 6 energy attack, you still only need the free energy. If you had to have the relevant energy, it would tell you, like it does on Mewtwo and Mew. So this is a wonderful thing. It's a tech, but essentially anytime you've got a Pokemon that can KO itself with one of its attacks, out comes Ninetales to smash. But we do have a whole bunch of other attackers in here as well. Another one which is very situational is Victini V. For 2 fire energy, or as I like to call it, 1 welder, what you do is 30 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. That is Victini and your opponents. Now, for 1 fire energy, you can attach free fire, well, for 1 colorless energy, attach free fire from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. You don't want to be using that. Turn 1, you want to welder, energy, decent attack. That's what you want. But it's there in case of emergency. Another one which is very situational is Heatran GX. Now, Heatran GX has got that awesome ability which allows you to, when you move it into the active, just move a whole bunch of fire energy over to it from your other Pokemon. You've then got free energy 130, or 50 damage for each fire energy attached to it, and this is largely going to be your GX attack. We do have a couple of other options for GX attacks, but you're generally not going to be using them. This is your GX attack most of the time. It's late, and or my opponent has one big Pokemon that I'm a bit scared of, move all your energy over onto Heatran and just do one big giant smash to try and win the game right now. Yes. All of the yes. But again, this isn't an every turn kind of Pokemon. This is generally there for the big GX attack. Free energy 130 is fine, but it's generally there for the big GX attack. Want another Pokemon which is basically there as a tech? How about Dubwool? Dubwool here is your finisher. Dubwool is the one that comes out when you're about to win the game just to finish things off. Free colorless energy, 120 damage, plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has already taken. So the goal here is to try and make sure that if your opponent gets too close to winning the game, you can start taking them out using Dubwool. Obviously, there's a great combo to be made here with Reset Stamp. Put your opponent down to a 1 or 2 card hand, knock out their best Pokemon, which is hopefully their only good Pokemon, and then just sweep with Dubwool to victory. And there is yet one more attacker, which is very much in here as a one-off, just in case. It's Victini Prism Star. Now, Victini Prism Star for 2 fire energy does 20 damage for each basic energy in your discard, and then you shuffle all those cards back into your deck. It's a single prize Pokemon, and really the only single prize attacker you've got here. and it just hits for big damage as long as you've got a whole bunch of basic energy, or fire, in your discard pile, and if you do, this is looking very, very nice indeed. Again, it's not an every turn kind of Pokemon. What we see here is a whole bunch of different Pokemon that serve different roles. Lots of energy on the field and want a big attack? Heatran. Lots of energy in a discard pile and want a big attack? Victini. Your opponent's got an attack that can KO itself? Ninetales. Your opponent's got lots of energy attached to their active? Victini V. Your opponent's taken lots of prize cards? Dubwool. It is a reactive deck. It is very much a toolbox deck, where you react to what your opponent's got on the field, and you've got a whole bunch of different options to pull out as and when. Now, in terms of more traditional, hey, I might actually use this on a turn-by-turn basis, we've got Blacephalon GX. Now, it does have an attack for 1 fire energy that burns and confuses. That's your early game emergency attack. For 1 fire energy, you can just discard one of your prize cards. If it's an energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. You don't really want to be using this that often, but remember, when you discard a prize card, you don't have to take it. So if you've got 1 prize remaining, this will win you the game. I love Heatran's GX attack, but there'll be plenty of times you use this one as well. The main attack just lets you lost zone as much energy as you like on the field, fire energy, and do 50 damage for each one lost zoned. Cool. It doesn't pair well with Victini Prism Star, but it can get off some big early game attacks. And then we got Reshiram and Charizard. Reshiram and Charizard is awesome. It's always been awesome, and it will probably be awesome because it's not ever going to have any legality without Welder, so it's always going to be great. 2 energy, 30 damage, plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon. 4 energy, 230. They're the 2 main attacks. And then you've got 3 energy, 200, or 6 energy, 300. Go through any effects on the defending Pokemon. Again, it's a GX attack you'll use occasionally, but it's not your main one here. You have basically got 7 different one-of attackers, and if you play this deck, it is up to you to decide which is the best one. Ninetales is a really nice option for support here. Discard 2 fire energy from your hand, gust one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's gusting, but it also gets energy in a discard for Victini, something to bear in mind. We've got 3 copies of Jirachi here. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find and train a card, put it in your hand, Jirachi goes to sleep, and then obviously we play a skateboard so that you can retreat for free, even if you're asleep. We've then got 2 copies of Dedenne. When you play it to your bench, you discard your hand and draw 6 cards. Good for early game consistency. And we've got Eldegoss here, that when you play it, it is Versus Seeker. You get to put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. Not amazing in the early game, but amazing in the mid to late game for reusing your supporters. Now, in terms of those supporters, we obviously play a full 4 copies of Welder. It's a fire deck. You attach 2 energy and draw 3 cards. It's a no-brainer. It's ridiculous. We've then got 2 copies of Professor Magnolia, or I suppose to give it its proper name, Professor's Research Magnolia. Discard your hand, draw 7, the fastest, most aggressive supporter in the game right now. And a couple copies of Boss's Orders, which is just a reprint of Lysander. It drags one of your opponent's Pokemon in the active. Yes, you've got Ninetales as well, and between Ninetales, Boss's Orders, and Eldegoss to reuse Boss's Orders, you should have as much gusting as you need here. Bearing in mind, you are playing a whole bunch of one-of Pokemon. You need to be able to use the right attack, but also attack the right Pokemon. So it's very important that you've got a lot of gusting in this deck, otherwise you're constantly fighting from behind and it's going to go wrong. In terms of Pokemon search, it's an entirely Pokemon deck, so we play a full 4 copies of Quick Ball, and then we play a couple copies of Pokemon Communication, just in case we ever need to get some other Pokemon, and because we can only play 4 Quick Ball. I said entirely basic, I mean except for your single solitary copy of Ninetales. My apologies. We got 2 copies of Fiery Flint, gets 4 fire energy out from your deck, that sounds kind of useful. A full 4 copies of Switch, And partly this is because you're playing Jirachi, but remember what I've been saying for the entire video. You've got a lot of different one-off attackers here. You need to have the right Pokemon on the right turn in order to win, so Force Switch is an absolute must. As is a couple of Escape Board, though they really are mostly for Jirachi. We've then got a couple copies of Pokegear 3.0 to help you find the right supporter. A single copy of Reset Stamp, mentioned that earlier, very good. One copy of Giant Half, which gets energy out from your deck as well. And then we've got one copy, because you're not allowed to play any more than one, of Heat Factory Prism Star. Discard a fire energy from your hand, draw 3 cards. Good for Victini Prism Star, which is also a one-of because Prism Star, but also just good for drawing cards. This deck is not for the faint of heart. This is not an autoplay deck. This is not just Welder onto Reshiram and Charizard while you stare out the window. This is constantly switching your active Pokemon to try and make sure you've got the right Pokemon using the right attack at the right time to take out the right Pokemon. But for the right player, this is a good deck. It's also the only Welder deck I've ever seen and went, ooh, that actually looks like it might be fun to play. I like playing reactive decks. I like aggressive decks and reactive decks. They're kind of my thing. But I'd like to know what you'd like. And I'd like to know if you like this particular deck. So, let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.